Hello, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm making biryani, and in this case, I'm making Swahili Biryani, a popular dish along the Kenyan coast. There are many biryanis, as many as the countries of the world maybe, or continental, like in India, in Asia. Food connects us together. This Swahili biryani started with putting some liquid oil, like 2 tablespoons, in a pot. And then I added some masala, which was bay leaf, cardamom, cinnamon, and cumin. And I put them when the oil was still cold so that they warm together and they release the aromas. Then I added chopped red onion, and once it had browned, I flipped it a bit, and then I had soaked my rice, my picholi rice. Basmati is a long green rice, very popular within East Africa. And I flipped it to get that onion and masala flavor and also oil so that it becomes a bit crispy, a bit nutty. I let it cook with the oil until it started to hold on the pot. That way, when you're eating it, it will be more like, it will be a bit roasted. It's like a roasted rice. Then I added water. And the ratio of water with the basmati rice is usually 1:2. Or you can measure it's like 2 centimeters above the rice. You put the water to go to a level of about 2 centimeters above the rice. And then I added some lemon and some salt, and I left it to boil. Once it boiled, I kept it in low heat until it was fully cooked. Then in another pot, I made the biryani stew, or what we call rojo, and I put the same vegetable oil, and actually this is the oil I'd used to fry the onions, and then ground ginger and garlic paste, and then I added the biryani masala, and then make sure that your onions don't burn because garlic burns quite fast. And then after that, I added some tomato paste, which I let it to caramelize. It gives the stew a very nice taste. And then I added the meat, which was pre-boiled. And the reason why it was pre-boiled is because it was a leftover from another dish which I had cooked. So it was actually fully cooked. So I only needed to make it taste. And then I added chopped fresh tomatoes, and I flipped it, and then I covered. I wanted the tomatoes to disintegrate. Once they were ready, I added a tablespoon of royco. If you're Kenyan, you know there's no household without royco. And once I flipped it a bit, I added lala, which is fermented or sour milk, but you can use yogurt if you don't have, or if you prefer to use yogurt. And then I flipped it a bit to cook it a little, and I added a tablespoon of lemon juice. Make sure you cook fermented milk a bit so that it doesn't curdle with the lemon juice. And then I lowered the heat because fermented milk or yogurt burns quickly. And then I added the potatoes, which I'd actually fried a little bit, and added some turmeric. And then I had also fried some onions, some red onions. I added them. And then I left it to boil a bit. Because remember, the potatoes had pre-cooked a little bit. And I did not want the onions to darken more. So I flipped it. I kept it on very low heat because the meat was actually cooked. I did not want it to overcook. Then I went to my rice and it was ready. I added also some caramelized onions and some parsley. Then I added, to give it a nice kick, to give my soup or my lodge a nice kick, I added some parsley and also some mint, and also a green chili. I am a chili person. I really like chili food. Maybe I've acquired that through my travels to many parts of the world. I've come to really love chili. And I was very keen to ensure that the lojo or the soup was not sticking at the bottom, because remember, fermented milk or yogurt has a tendency of really burning. So you have to keep a good eye. You can actually add a little water, but I didn't have to because my potatoes had been cooked and my meat was also cooked. And how you know your lojo is ready is when you see oil forming around the food. And I scooped the oil as much as I could. I put it on the rice. This is what gives a diversity of colors to the rice. Because I had also soaked some saffron with some milk, and I had also added the color to the rice. Oil from the lojo was providing another different taste and also color. And then my rice was ready. I flipped it, as you can see, to mix all the ingredients together, the onions, the parsley, the chili, and it was ready to serve. Usually we serve this with some fermented milk, and you can, or actually yogurt, and you can add a bit of black pepper, salt, red pepper, bell pepper, and maybe some parsley or coriander leaves. And you can see we serve our rice separately. We don't mix our rice. For the Swahili biryani, we cook rice fully separately, not like the other where you cook rice halfway and then you mix together with the stew. Here you cook both of them separately and you serve them rice down and the stew on top. Then I garnished with parsley and the fried onions, and I can tell you the fried onions were heavenly. I hope you try Swahili biryani and you'll enjoy it, I'm certain.